Here we go. So we're on Wednesday's homework in problem 24. We have Vincent who's cooking. He's got a 25-pound bag of rice, and he cooks 6.25 pounds out of that 25-pound bag. Okay, so if I'm cooking that, I must be taking that away. So I'm going to be subtracting. Just to review a little bit about the subtracting, let's look at, I can't take 5 from 0, okay? So I need to come over here and I need to borrow a 10 and bring that over here. So now I have 5. Okay, to get that 9 there, I needed to borrow 1 from here. And to get that one, I'm going to have to borrow 1 from here. So I'm going to have 9, I'm lining up the decimals, 9 minus 2 is 7, 14 minus 6 is 8, 1 minus 0 is 1. So this is how many pounds he has left of the rice that he started with. Okay, and so now he wants to store it in smaller amounts. He wants to store it in 3 3/4 pieces. So he wants to do it in 3 3/4. And I can write that as 3 3/4, or I could write that as 3.75. Either way works. So I want to know how many 3.75s are in 18.75. How many can I divide? How many I can divide them up? And knowing, if I talk about it, I can say I'm dividing up this bigger quantity into smaller quantities. So I know that to get my answer, I am going to have to divide. Okay, and so that's a good way along, and so you have a good starting point to figure out what the final answer is. I'm going to move to 25. 25 is very similar to a problem we did yesterday when we talked about division with fractions. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change these mixed numbers into fractions, because this is a very complicated thing to do if I'm going to try to get a reciprocal of a mixed number. So I'm going to take 5 and multiply it by 1, because I know 5 in one whole, there are 5/5, and add this 1 up here, and so now I have 6/5. Negative, let's not forget the negative, and I'm going to divide by, so 6 times 1 is 6 plus 5, and that's going to be 11/6. All right, so I got negative 5/6 divided by negative 11/6. I want to remember that I keep those negatives, okay? So if I'm dividing, we talked about this yesterday, we talked about the fact that when I divide by fractions, I need to keep the first one, I need to change to multiplication, and then I need to use the reciprocal. And so I'm going to be doing negative. Okay, and so that's going to be what my final problem looks like before I start multiplying. Couple of things to remember. One, that a negative times a negative is a positive. They like each other. They get along. Okay, and that when I'm multiplying the numerator times the numerator, and then the denominator times the denominator. So I'm going straight across, multiplying straight across. That's what I'm doing for the numbers, and then negative times negative is what I'm doing for the signs. Okay, that should give you a great start. Now I'm going to look at problem 26, and I love these kinds of problems because they have you look at other people's work and say, which of these makes sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to give you the answer, but I'm going to, and I'm not going to put out the choices. I'm going to write down the questions you should be asking when you're looking at these problems. First thing is the sign stays with the number. Sign stays with the number. Okay? So I can't say that negative 6/5 plus 10/22 is the same as a negative 10/26 minus 6/5 or plus 6/5. The 6/5, the negative 6/15 has to stay negative. Negative or minus. Okay? The 10/22 has to stay positive or plus. So that would actually eliminate right away two of those choices. You need to look through and see in what case did the negative 6/15 stay either negative or minus, and the 10/22 stay either positive or adding. The next thing that you need to do then between the two that is left, and you need to figure out, do you need a common denominator when you subtract? And so this is a rule we know. Do you need it? Yes, yes you do. Yes, yes, yes. Okay? No common denominator if you're multiplying or dividing. That's a whole different thing. But adding and subtracting, I cannot add or subtract fractions unless I have a common denominator. It would be like saying, how about if I have 2 boys and I want to take away 3 girls? Yeah, you can't do that. I could say I have 3 people and I want to take away 2 people because the label or the denominator is the same. Okay, so those 2 questions should set you on a great path to solve problem 26.